Hey everyone, so today I'll be talking about True Dragon Quest 4 event. And as a preview, I'll be talking mainly about Maya, and I'm gonna separate this DQ4 event preview into a few parts because it's otherwise gonna be too long. And then, as I said, first part will be Maya. So in April, we're expecting 4 different sets of banners and associated events and Blossom units coming. And the first week there'll be a first batch of events and banner unit Maya released. So what is Maya about? Maya is one of the most interesting unit that we'll receive, and it's because she has two forms. One is the human form and the other is the dragon form, where she can transform into that. So it's a really cool mechanic. So I love this is what makes me love about this unit. And then what's she like in the human form? I'd like to explain. So firstly, she's a very fast unit that starts battle with 2 stops agility and 2 stop evasion. Also comes with the agility buff, similar to Jamirus. Her main DPS attack in the human form is the AoE Frizz spell in that shape, and it has also a chance to reduce Frizz resistance. Her also other spell is an AoE non-elemental in a 3 tiles. Has a 60% chance of stun, and then her perks include move +1 at the first awakening, 50% damage reduction once, that's a barrier, and then 5-star 5 awakening, she gains a HP regen of 10%, perhaps representing her dragon nature. So I'm trying to relate this unit to existing one so that you get the feel for what she'll be like. So in summary, I think she's going to be a little bit like a Summer Seraphy in an attacking capability with her attack and agility. She has 2 stops evasion, which is probably about as evasive as Phoenix. And then also she has an agility buff like Jamirus, but less flexible. It can only be casted on herself, unlike Jamirus with 1 to 2 range. She also, as I said, she comes with that stun spell, which has a good range, and this will be one of the confirmed way to stun Zen. So it's a really nice counter for Zen meta. But I think what was a little bit disappointing is that this is a reflectable spell, which means that it won't be able to use it on Madesagoro, who's also weak to stun. So I said Maya is really fast, so how fast is she? So this is the ranking of agility in order in JP, and as you see, she's one of the fastest, only behind like Wolfspeed, Wrath, and Seraphy. So she's pretty fast and close to the top currently. And comparing her damage. So she's a kind of her damage is, as I said, comparative to Seraphy, but at max awakening she does a little bit more than Seraphy, but about par on the 1 awakening, and this is because her ability is stat scaling. It's because it's spell, whereas the Summer Seraphy's attack is a martial, which is a level scaling. Now. I left out the Graynell's damage here to illustrate that actually what each of the square tile will do about Graynell's Frizzball's damage, which is really good. So yeah, I think she's a good good DPS in the base form as well. But let's talk about enough of that. Let's talk about her most interesting part. So she's her dragon form. So when she uses her B Dragon ability on the second turn onwards, she can transform into a dragon, when she will restore the HP and also gains 30% damage reduction and ignores status alignment. So that's a huge buff and makes a really competitive unit, one of the strongest in the game, in fact. She would lose all of the abilities I explained earlier, but she will gain 2 very strong abilities, both of which costing 0 MP for the duration she is dragon. On that note, she can be dragon for 2 turns, and then she will transform back to human form. In terms of the first ability, it's a martial attack that's does a really wide range of AoE centered around her. It hits 3 times, and each hit is has a 40% chance to stun the enemy. So that's in total, I calculated to be around 80% of stun, even to average resisting unit. So significantly good way to stun. And especially the ones that are weak to stun will most likely be near 100% stun. So that's a really strong ability. But I think main kicker here is that her AoE breast damage is just simply absurd. It does absurd damage for a Frizz attack. So speaking of the damage, what does it look like? So her damage is AoE very similar to Zen. As you see, it's only behind Maribel, but only because Maribel, it's only like when every single buff is activated on Maribel, she can do a damage. But looking at the range, obviously her range is much more wider, and also the fact that she can deliver this consistently without less kind of requirements, can cast this twice, third and fourth turn. It's fair to say she's the strongest. On the list you see Solo above Maya, and that is not that is not wrong to say Solo is a stronger Frizz attacker. However, I would just point out that it's his Q, and he's in only at that center that he can do that relevant damage. So as an AoE DPS, she's second to none. So she's very strong in that regards. On the other hand, I can't say the same for her Stampede ability. Her Stampede ability, after going through all the hoops, only does around 1100 damage, which is a little bit low side. But this feature is kind of understandable because this ability is more about the stun than the damage. But still, I just thought that's quite a low side for especially after doing the dragon transform or all the hoops. So my review, let's look at the pros and cons as usual. So pros, I think she's a super fun unit. I think to me that alone sells it to me. But she's also a best DPS, best Frizz DPS. So and especially given that the breast attack is very reliable. I said bulky, but it's more that she's evasion, mitigation, status alignment, so very survivability is very high, is what I mean here. And then lastly, she has very good options to stun in both forms. Her downside is quite simple, that I think for a 60 weight unit that's brand new, she's just mediocre in her human form. And also one of the real downside here is that she's weak to confuse, and if she's confused on the first turn, she won't be able to transfer into dragon to deliver her full value, and that'll probably be mostly game over if it's on the PvP contents. Also, speaking of PvP, I think the fact that she takes one turn to transform, although it does heal herself, I think it's good for possibly good for PvE, but that's a not really welcoming term for PvP contents, especially when things are very aggressive in both arena and RTA. I already mentioned this, but the fact that her stun ability on a base form is a spell that can be reflected, which means it can't be used against Madisagora. And then dragon form is hard to fault, but she is a Frizz attacker, so she can be resisted. Unlike Zen, who has like dual element, it's harder to resist. So she can be she can probably not one shot a unit that resists Frizz. Aside from that, she does have a Stampede, but as I showed you, the damage is mediocre. Also, speaking to guildies, I spotted also that she's a hero type, so she hasn't got the full synergy in the dragon team with Zen, so that's also a little bit of downside. She still work with Madisagora, so I would say her dragon form is very hard to fold, very competitive, one of the best units in the game. Now, again, Will Speed have been really good in the previous review against Ashlyn as well, but he's a kind of MVP again. 4 range, Kafado, also really good reach, can really be going after Maya. And I think what's really funny is that her relationship with Mother Segura. So first turn, she'll be absolutely like a worst enemy. She can't stun Mother Segura, but she can confuse back, so he can confuse her. So Maya will be running away, but comes turn 2, and she transforms dragon form. She's no longer able to be stunned, and she gains a massive the martial stun, and then so Mother Segura runs away. Kind of a comical relationship there. So my first impression of Maya. So I hate to say this because I love the unit design and everything, but I think she is a nice to have, but very close to competitive nice to have, I would say, in my opinion. Let me know what you think, guys, as well. But that's my first impression before seeing her in global RTA or PvP stuff. However, in PvE, I think she has a niche spot that she'll be really good for a large boss battle. Speaking of which, we'll be expecting one for DQ4 event on the launch. So I think if you get her, awaken her, it's a breath DPS. So at even a 1 awakening, she does her kind of main ability will do somewhat relevant damage as well. So definitely I'll be really happy to if I could pull her, and yeah, I think you should definitely awaken her as the 1 awakening. And then the 5-star awakening will be an additional plus for a large boss battle, but as I said, I think yet to see, but PvP will be too aggressive for Maya to fit in. But who knows, if you find a good strategy to use RTA and arena, let me know. I'll be very keen to know. Now events, there's just tons to talk about, but I'll keep it very brief. So there's been a lot of farmable units, and then Healy and Balzac are the 2 must get units. Definitely go for full awakening, if not more, the awakening plus remit. This guys is a good spell DPS, but how often do you use a spell A rank spell unit? It depends on. If you do, then definitely farm as well. Now Balzac is really bulky, but also really has a good attack and really good in RTA. Oh, oops, sorry. And then Healy is a really nice. He's a kind of healer, but also he has a buff every time that he heals. He creates this tiles that increases attack for the team. So it stacks with the rest of the buffs. So it's really good, really unique. So I'll definitely get these 2. The rest of them, is a usual level of low rank unit. So you may decide not to farm them. However, do bear in mind that they are tied to a mission. This is kind of a new mission where you can build your own town. It progresses, development by farming and killing stuff. So you might be farming this to just complete the mission, but bear in mind that's happening also at the beginning of April. There's a lot of farmable items coming, and I'm not gonna go through all of them, and they're all very good. Most of them are tied to hero types, but really competitive in that. So definitely farm hard for all of these. And as I said, large boss battle is coming. It's been a while, but this is we're getting one, which is good. And then I'll talk about the guild mission battles, or whatever it's going to be called, for the mid-April. So part 2 or part 3 of this session. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching again, and I hope to see you soon for the part 2 of DQ4 event. Laters.